My name's Henry Hall, and I'm the original owner of the Charnwood Homestead. I was one of Canberra's earliest pioneers and immigrated to Australia in 1823. After a dispute with my cousin Edward Smith Hall involving land at St Heliers, I was granted 3,472 acres of land in the parish of Ginninderra, County of Murray, and named it Charnwood. I owned and lived on the property with my wife and 11 children. As well as Charnwood, I also leased the Mullion and the Yalk station, amounting to 20,150 acres, ensuring I controlled the biggest amount of acreage in the district. Maintaining such a big property was a challenge, especially with ongoing bushfires, floods and rabbit plagues to compete with. Natives also proved to be an issue. They were always killing our livestock. This stock was our livelihood. Without them we would not be able to live, and the natives were killing and eating them at their will, without any consideration as to the impact it would have on myself and my family. Graziers, me included, were starting to take matters into our own hands. While out checking fences one day on my property, I came across a native who had speared one of my sheep. Without hesitation, I shot him in the leg. I was brought up to believe stealing and thieving was wrong, and to protect what is mine. I didn't need to justify my actions to myself, nor anyone else. It was an eye for an eye, and this thievery had to be stopped. I never understood how people like Garrett Cotter to the west of the Murrumbidgee and Robert Wright at Lanyon could tolerate the natives, some even inviting them into their own homes to sleep at night. I could never fathom the natives' way of life. They were like wild savages to me, seemingly had no permanent dwellings to live, and wore little or no clothing, and allowed their children to run around like scavengers. After ongoing complaints from fellow graziers, the government finally took action in 1839, and they introduced the Border Police. These Border Police were mostly ex-convicts who patrolled the boundaries of the big grazing properties throughout New South Wales. However, I knew as well as anyone did that these Border Police were nothing more than corrupt thugs. They did as they pleased, but as long as they kept our properties safe from the natives, we didn't really care, and we were willing to turn a blind eye. In 1874, Mary and I retired to Yass, selling Charnwood to Edward Crace. We remained here until Mary died in 1876, and I passed in 1880. In the 1970s, my original homestead was demolished due to poor condition and problems with squatters and vandalism. When I built the Charnwood Homestead, many trees were planted around it to provide shelter and food for my family and workers, and this is what still remains there today.